Now we go into a very core subtopic, confidence and fear in speaking. So what's the biggest misconception that people have about confidence on stage? I think the purpose of this is to spell it out for them, for the audience.
See, confidence is the most important criteria of a good speaker. Confidence comes in inner person. It's not the more exterior. It's the inner person. If you tell yourself, I can, means I can. Because you have confidence. Of course, confidence also encompasses the knowledge. If you are a knowledgeable person, you know that you can speak on a lot of topics in depth. And then you know how to influence the audience. The confidence are there. But sometimes there are many situations that can derail and obstruct your confidence. So everything is internal. Just give you a scenario.
Please.
If you go on the stage and you started to speak and you scan the audience from the front row, suddenly you find two of the audiences sitting down there. They were your enemies and they have trouble with you. They have argued with you in the past. You have not seen them for nearly 5 to 10 years. Suddenly they appear. You know what? At that situation, when you look at them, straight away, that effect go internal self to you.
It might throw you off.
When you're talking, your mind's wandering another way. Why are they these two guys are sitting down there? Are they trying to sabotage me? Are they going to make trouble for me? So that come to your mind while you're speaking. That can derail your confidence level. So it's very important. So your mindset must be ready. It doesn't matter who are among the audience. And you tell yourself that I'm here to influence them. They are here to support me. I'm in good. That's why they are here to listen to me. So with that mindset, your confidence level not only can steady, can even goes up.
Okay, cool. That's actually a very good scenario that you gave. I've not thought of that scenario before. Because based on the scenario you gave, it can throw people off, and if they can't stay on track, it would screw up the whole talk, the whole speech.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, there's another scenario that can also put you off track. The moment you speak to them, you say, I'm going to create a joke in my speech, make them laugh. So when you give out a humorous story, nobody laugh. Straight away, your inner self tell you, there's no go. So you try another story, try another jokes or humor. Still nobody laugh. Not to worry. In your mind, you have to tell yourself quietly, these people do not understand my joke. It's not my fault, it's their fault.
Okay.
You continue to do that. If your inner self tell you that it's your fault, you can't tell. You know why? Your confidence level go down.
So the only way to stay steady on the stage is
yes, you have to you make yourself confident. Another scenario is that the moment you start talking, after maybe 15, 20 minutes, you scan around the audience. Everybody take out the handphone and look at the handphone. You must tell yourself you have to change the situation. Can spark the audience with a story, with something that interests them, or raise your voice a little bit. So vocal variety also helps the audience to wake up. I know. Well, I was among the audience all the time. I like to listen to talks. Sometimes I look at my fellow audience on the left and right. The fellow take out the handphone. It sort of influenced me also take out the handphone, see whether I got latest message or not, right? The other one, take out the handphone. So this thing is one by one, take out the handphone. That means that your speak make them to change the scenario. In fact, they want to come and listen to you, but your speech is so lousy that they don't want to listen to you. They prefer looking at the handphone. So this is the time that your mindset will change. At the same time, how to change the mindset of the audience. Encourage them to look at you. Encourage them to give them a pause. So this is the thing that confident beget confidence.
Well said. Amazing. Okay. Next question is how do you redefine fear in public speaking? Like fear as a tool and not as a blocker. Because I feel like if many of us, the youth who are growing up, right, and transitioning, if we understand how to use fear as a tool to get better and not as a blocker, we can unlock a whole new ton of capabilities in ourselves.
What you say is entirely true. But many of the public speakers, they are not so experienced.
Yeah.
They let fear to overcome them. They let fear to control them. They let fear to overrule the whole situation. So as a person, you must control those things. This is all internal. The fear comes in only because of the pressure and the pain. Pressure means that you enjoy speaking. You enjoy listening to the laughter among the audience. You want to please them. You want to entertain them. You want to inspire them. I'm sure they'll love it. But then in the other way around, you say that I'm trying to inspire them. None of them pay attention. I'm trying to make them laugh, to entertain them. They didn't respond. So it's internal. You have to tell yourself that, hey, I got to change the situation. You don't have to tell the audience scenery, hey, how come you're not listening to me? I'm going to use this. No, it's internally you must control yourself. Then ultimately, step by step, I'm sure you can succeed. You must try out different methods. And then, of course, there are different kind of audience too. Are you going to speak to the audience, parliamentarians, or are they all ministers? Are they down there because they are the guests of honor?
That comes the knowing the audience part.
Correct. So these sort of things, you must have that in your mind and get ready.
I believe a repeated phrase that's coming from you over the past questions is internal control.
Yes, definitely. Because I've spoken to the PAP conference, right? Among the audience, Mr. and Mrs. Lee Kuan Yew and all the other ministers. Well, I tried on the platform. It turned out to be fairly well done. Of course, I fear, but I know how to control the fear.
So the fear,
if I tell you I have no fear, I'm telling a lie.
The fear is inevitable, but controlling it is the key.
Yeah, you must control it. That's it. So you tell yourself, this is the experience. I must treasure it. And when you reach home, you reflect on the whole thing. What you have done correctly, what you have done incorrectly. Change it.
Cool, Ken. Thanks for explaining that. So he has just explained how do we redefine fear in public speaking. I believe it's a very important thing for amateur public speakers or people just going into it, beginning to give speeches now and then. I recall my first real opportunity in public speaking was being the MC for a National Day parade back in secondary school in Bartley. What I was supposed to do was give all the commands and cues for the parade to happen. But it was a wet weather day program, so it was indoors in a multi-purpose hall. So we were all in our uniforms and everything, but then it was in the hall. Yeah, not in the parade square. But yeah, cool. So you've given us a few scenarios in which fear can affect us and overwhelm us. And do you think you can share some practical strategies that listeners can use today to shift the fear into confidence? Because I'm sure that there are different methods that you've discovered throughout your 42 years of Toastmastery.
See, from my experience, for my journey, it's difficult to tell you that, suddenly last year I got fear. This year I got no fear. No. It's only when continually you go on the stage and deliver a speech. Then after you've spoken, it was, I really enjoy this speech. I really enjoy looking at the audience. I enjoy getting on the platform and deliver the speech. And you tell yourself, hey, the whole half an hour, I have no fear totally. So to yourself, you reflect back, last year I think I still have fear. How come this year I have no fear?
It's just
These are
reduced
the
fear, right?
just actually it's a continual
It's just
process.
reduced fear.
Then after a while, you find yourself you enjoy. You want to speak.
How do you say it? A more diluted version of saying the minimized fear after you're more and more used to giving speeches is, I think a good word to use is nervous. Just nervous, right?
Anxiety, they
Yeah,
call it
anxiety.
actually in terms they call it social anxiety.
Mm.
See, fear is considered social factor. So we call it social anxiety. But it doesn't mean that this 2 year you have no fear. Then next year you'll continue no fear. Fear will still comes out at the occasion that you at least expected it.
Mm.
Many factors can do it. Suddenly, maybe before you went on the stage, the night before you quarrel with your wife, you might before you quarrel with your children, and then suddenly you tell yourself on the way, hey, I've forgotten how to open the first line and all those things. That can arouse your inner feeling. And the
Mm.
moment you go out the stage, the fear can leak in.
But again, that's the best part about growth, right? The fear is that the more you are in uncomfortable situations outside your comfort zone, the more you grow, the more you realize how to deal with the fear. That way, you just significantly solidify your inner strength, your inner control when you're giving future speeches.
Inner strength is very important. You must control yourself. But if you let the situation control you, you cannot be a what they call that, a confident speaker.
Mm.
And then of course, confident speaker also depends on the knowledge. You see, whatever it is the mindset. Determine whether you fear or whether you no fear.
Perfect. Amazingly said. So, with this, Dr. Chen has provided us with some actionable takeaways for teens and young adults about internal mindset and external performance. And I honestly can't think of anyone better than a person with that many years of experience to give it love, because it's definitely tried and tested over the years of his life. So it can be it's reliable advice. So next is open dialogue and real conversation. This is a very interesting topic that I like to teach my friends and family every day as well. At least a bit of what I do know lah, because every day I'm experiencing it too. How does public speaking relate to everyday communication in school, work, and community?
See, public speaking is a life skill. Every one of us must go through the journey if you dare to go on the stage. Many people, when I talk to Ernest, in my whole life, I will never go on the stage. In my whole life, I don't think I will ever go up there. Well, if you had that your mindset, definitely you'll never improve. You never know the occasion can come. When your name is being announced, you, of course, at that moment, you either say, yes, I go on the stage. Oh, no, 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 please don't call me. Please don't call me.
So it's
Oh,
also
yeah,
starts
yeah, you're
off
in
with a
the
positive mindset.
conundrum at that moment. That means you're in a dilemma what to do. So the moment you know how to craft a speech, you understand the structure of a speech. These are the basic foundation. See, public speaking is not just go out there to speak. Understand the purpose of your speech. Understand the structure of the speech. Understand how to hook the audience. Understand how to render a memorable closing. How to call for action. So there are many, many techniques, many, many tips and techniques to be a good public speaker.
Power of
Ah,
public speaking.
so this is the thing. I don't mind to share with you, right? See, I'm an author of 8 books. These are the 2 books, the most about techniques, tools for a good public speaker.
What he has not specifically covered in the episode can essentially be found in the books. And I got one of them. I have this one.
It's, for instance, this one, rhetorically speaking and writing. How many people understand what is rhetoric? I can tell you, out of 100, it's only 1 or 2 understand what is rhetoric. A lot of people say, yes, I know. So I asked them, can you give me an example? They could not. So this work took me 10 years to research and discover the power of rhetoric. Rhetoric is the soul of public speaking. If you don't know rhetoric, it's difficult to speak out and influence the audience. Just an example, go through all the inaugural addresses of all the American presidents. Read through their messages in the speech. All the whole speech covered with rhetoric. That's how I started to understand rhetoric when I studied the speech of JFK, John F. Kennedy, 1961, January the 20th, he delivered the inaugural address. Then I discovered, wow, I can learn so much about public speaking. My dear friends, if you want to go ahead and understand public speaking and be a good and excellent speaker, don't miss out on this book. This is the only book on rhetoric written by an Asian, Ernest Chen.
I will include a reference to that in the description for this segment, so you guys can take a look at the book.
See how important is rhetoric? Definitely is very important. Rhetoric is not born in this century, last century. Rhetoric was born 5,000 years ago. In fact, in every languages, in every culture, in every nationality, they have their own guru who delivers speeches full of rhetoric in their own language. If you study the Chinese culture during those periods, 5,000 years ago or 2,500 years ago, all the speeches are full of rhetoric in Chinese, of course. The same thing is in India, Indian language also they use.
Oh, there is a lot of rhetoric in Indian language.
If you study the Greek philosophy, all the Greek philosopher, right? Socrates, Aristotle, and a few others, their speeches are full of rhetoric too. They understand the importance of rhetoric. So for us as public speaker, we must understand and use rhetoric, inject rhetoric in our words.
Could you define, just give a simple definition for rhetoric for the audience?
I mean, there are many categories of rhetorical devices. So rhetorical devices means that, let me give you examples. So I call it figure of language. So under figure of language, there will be simile, metaphor, analogy, and so forth. Simile, we all know that. I mean, she is as pretty as Cinderella. Or we can say that, metaphor, we can say, Justin is the tiger in the office and the mouse at home. Straight away, I'm sure the audience will hear it, they understand, right? Wow. He scold his office staff left and right. The moment at home, he's being governed by the wife, isn't it? So this sort of thing is a metaphor. See, so analogy is something that you use one attribute to something, For instance, very famous Tom Hanks, is it Forrest Gump?
Tom Hanks.
It's Tom Hanks, right? Forrest Gump. You see,
one of my favorite
movies. Where you said that, if you open a box of chocolate, you never know what is inside because there's so many types of chocolate, so many different colors. So this is called analogy.
That reminds me of a bit of a quote from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
With regards to relationships, actually. But just to touch on it real quick, is that Sheldon Cooper actually advised his best friend Leonard Hofstadter and Penny on how to explore their relationship with the analogy of Schrodinger's cat. So that reminded me of that.
See, for instance, I can tell you that, my creator quote, I always tell people in life, do what you love what you do. So remember that, do what you love what you do. So you look at the two sentences, do, love. love, do, right? So this is called figure of balance under the rhetorical device, they call it figure of balance, both sides. So we call it ABBA principle. ABBA principle. A very famous rhetorical statement is by John F. Kennedy in the inaugural address. At the closing, he said, "So, my fellow Americans, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country." So this is exactly ABBA. So that belongs to figure of balance. And then for that rhetorical devices, that specific is called anti-metabolic.
Okay, cool.